Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I am joined, as always, with Keelan. What is going on, my dude?
I am doing well, brother. I don't have any cool shades, so I'm just gonna take this
You
tone.
got to get some, man. I'm
I
telling
do,
you. Yeah.
but in lieu of, I'm gonna take this tone for a while, and I'm just gonna say I'm doing very pleasant, and I think my tone matches the chill of your look.
All right. I like it. Thank you. And for House of the Dragon, episode 5, we got Mike joining us. What is going on, Mike?
Not a whole lot, gentlemen. Just trying to make it.
Trying to make it. Yes, he's had a long weekend. We've had a long weekend, and we are back with you guys. We are recording tonight on Monday instead of our usually Sunday night, but we are going to be talking about House of the Dragon episode 5 tonight. And
Yes.
do you know, Keelan? Do you know what the title of this one was?
Yes, We Light the Way, which
We Light
I
the Way.
can't say I understand the name of this one.
That would be the Hightower's motto. Yeah.
I didn't catch that. Who the hell said that? Yeah,
Oh,
Well, that's because, yeah. Well, we'll get into it. All right. But before we get into it, I wanted to give everybody a fair spoiler warning. It is still recent. It was last night. So if you haven't seen episode 5 of House of the Dragon, please be warned. Please be warned now that we're going to be spoiling it. We're going to be talking about the details of the show. So if you do not want to be spoiled, turn back now. Catch us on the replay. If you don't mind being spoiled, join us and listen to what we have to say here, and let us know what you think of this episode too, because it really means a lot to us when you guys engage. So we really appreciate it. All right, episode 5. I'm done blabbing, done with the intros. Keelan, hit me. What are your first impressions, man?
My first impressions is that hit me, gave me a mental rendition of a Beyonce hit me. But
I like it.
yeah, right. I really wanted to give this a quick
time
deep
to
dive.
get a
Like, you know what
soundboard.
I really think? Good point, Mike. Very good
Time to
point.
get a soundboard.
I agree.
So my initial thoughts about this episode is we'll definitely need leeches.
More leeches.
Man, something went wrong.
Something definitely went wrong. More leeches. I will begin with this. This is probably the most pertinent part of my review from top to bottom. This was a better episode than episode 3. That goes, like, honestly, way better episode than episode 3. I'm not gonna say it almost saved my thoughts of this series so far, but it definitely saved my interest from where episode 3 left me off. Not that I'm too excited for the next one, but we'll get to that. As far as storyline, what we saw in episodes 5, I do want to say that I think they tried really hard this episode to finally start pushing things forward to really get us to a point where we might get to a climax or an apex of the story. But then by the end of this episode, I realized, oh, they thought this was that. And yeah, I'll stop there.
Interesting. I'd like to get into further detail about that, but first we need Big Mike's opinion. Big Mike, first impressions, episode 5. What did you think?
Well, the episode started at the very end for me when I saw those rats. That's the
Yes.
only part that I cared about in this whole episode, to be honest with you.
With the rats drinking the blood?
That's it, dude. I was like, ooh, is that how Grayscale gets started? That's all I cared about. That's all I cared about. Everything that happened before that.
Couldn't care less, huh?
No.
Oh, no. All right. Well, it sounds like we kind of got a mixed bag here. The
show is losing me, to be fair.
Okay.
Losing. Nice. What about you, Nick? How do you fare in the beginning of this thought process?
Well, what I'll say about this episode, it is certainly the most on the mark of what I wanted out of this series, I think, if I could say that. It's definitely the strongest episode in so far. In that there's a lot more political intrigue, there's a lot more scheming going on. We're actually starting to see like what the end goals of these people are. For the first 4 episodes, it was kind of like, all right, where are we getting? Where are we going? Where are we going? After this episode, I finally kind of understand what we're about to get into. Now, when that happens is remains to be seen. So it could still take a while for us to get there, but I like that they're laying down some political intrigue, some interpersonal conflicts, some scheming. That's the type of stuff that I like about Game of Thrones, and I think that that's where what I enjoyed the most about this episode in particular.
Nice. It sounds like this episode left you thinking, next time on House of Dragon.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, see, and this
on
is Hot D. Yes, next week. But this is kind of the issue, right? Because this is the last episode with the 2 younger actresses.
Correct.
Next episode, they're going to be totally different, and I don't know if I'm excited about that because I just now started liking Alicent, and I don't necessarily want to see the actress get changed, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I like Alicent. I think that what she's doing now is a lot more like
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thronesy. It's what Cersei might do, or maybe Marjorie might do. You know, the idea that she comes in late to the wedding and then she's wearing her war colors. You know, that's all right. Okay,
she's definitely setting. I can honestly admit, with you bringing that up, Nick. Did I notice Alicent throughout the episode? Yes. Did she pop, so to speak? Like, did her character start to show some color? Yeah, I can fully agree there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit my trepidation because now they're going to change the actress, and I just feel like, oh, that sucks because I was just starting to get into the character, and so. Hopefully, you know, if the character is still interesting, then that actress isn't going to matter. But I'm just a little bit concerned that it might. But yeah, first impressions of that so far, I think, you know, we can probably get into some of the stuff that you guys want to bring up, some of the stuff that you want to talk about. Keelan, where do you want to start us off?
Man, listen, I want to start at the very beginning. Scene number 1.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
I want to start at scene number 1. For the first time, and this is why I say this really is probably the best episode so far, honestly. But it definitely sets a different tone than episode 3. Because episode 3 did not leave me wanting for episode 4, and episode 4 did not leave me wanting to finish this season. And so I felt like we were on a downward spiral. Episode 5 kind of, I'm not gonna say it starts to head back north, like head back upward, but it definitely flattened out. So we're no longer heading down. We're at least even keel, and there looks to be something on the horizon. And I say that because Daemon Targaryen finally did some Game of Thrones shit. Somebody died that didn't have to die for personal gain.
Right.
And nobody was around, but everybody knows exactly what the fuck happened. That's Game of Thrones.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, that part was it was okay. I agree with you guys on that one. Because the first thing I thought was like, oh man, he's not gonna kill his wife, is he?
Yes, he is.
And I was like, yeah, he killing her. What am I saying? Of course he is.
Of course he.
And then when he put his foot on her arm, I was just like, cold dude.
That was just some sick shit.
Cold dude.
Listen, at first I was like, dang, that's how he gonna do it. He could at least like cut her throat, like make yourself work for it. But when he went to step on her arm, I was like, oh shit, he gonna torture her? Oh, he a cold dude. He a cold dude because
man, I ain't gonna lie. That part was that was a lot right there. And then when he picked up the jagged rock, not even a flat stone.
Yes.
He picked up the spike rock. It's like, oh.
Bash her in the back of the head, flip her over. This is how she felt.
Back.
Well, I'm going to say good on her for not stopping talking trash till her very last breath.
Absolutely.
Last breath. And to me, that's what made that so awesome as well, is in true Game of Thrones fashion, it's like, oh, you going to kill me? You big bad wolf, you? Fuck you. Nah, I'm gonna talk shit to you.
Right.
Bitch, yo, mama ain't shit. Like to the last breath.
Yes.
But it was also kind of a negative for me as well, because the first time you see real murder, and I'm not, at battle, I mean murder, cold-hearted murder. It's supposedly the baddest dude killing his wife, so it's like a guy killing a woman, and it's like, oh wait, but y'all told us, according to this lore, that women aren't strong enough. So it's like, it's cool to see him do some Game of Thrones shit. Simultaneously, when we gonna get some real killing going?
Yeah. And it definitely is I kind of like that they're taking Daemon in this route, because he's not a good character, and he's not exceptionally tough. I think that episode 3 kind of is a little bit of an anomaly, because everywhere else Daemon is kind of a punk. He's kind of weaselly. He doesn't want to, like, get into too much conflict directly. He kind of wants
It's more about his position and how he can use that to overpower people before he uses physicality.
He wants to be able to do what Viserys does as king, which is order other people to do his bidding.
Right.
Literally all Daemon is interested in is forcing other people to do that which he does not want to do himself, and that he knows they don't want to take part in. I think that's what makes him killing his wife, to me, one of the biggest things to bring up. Not just because it's the first scene in the episode, because if you know Game of Thrones, and this is why I feel like that set the motion of the Game of Thrones things starting to actually take place. Aside from the cousin wedding with their nasty ass. And what I mean by that, not the cousin part, but what I mean by, Game of Thrones things starting to take place. Viserys isn't doing what the typical king in Game of Thrones does. He's not just having people's head cut off and having banquets and all kind of crazy shit going on every single scene. If anything, he's been so tapered off that as he's starting to get closer to death, now he's starting to wonder, like, what's my legacy gonna be? Like, I don't have this legacy of going on hunts. I don't have this legacy of having the greatest feasts in the world. Hell, my legacy almost just became my daughter's a whore. What songs are they gonna sing about me? I don't understand. And by Daemon doing what he did, he now stands to not necessarily be king, but be one of the lords, like we saw in Game of Thrones. Like I can't remember his name right now, but the guy who flays.
Ramsay.
Ramsay. Bolton.
Right?
House Bolton. He can have his own House Bolton-esque type situation, because it seems like he fancies the attention he gets from doing just terrible things. Not because he's a terrible person, but he likes the way that people receive him from doing it. It's like, oh, that's how I get what I'm looking. That's how I get the respect. Like, no, that's how you get fear. Fear and respect aren't the same. But for the first time, that's what happened when Daemon did that. And then him finding out later, he knows that he stands to gain something from her death. That's all Game of Thrones shit right there. Like, that's not House of Dragons. That's not name 5 other stories that they can bring up and come up with and name another show. No. That's just Game of Thrones shit. And that was good for me. And that's a good jump off point, in my opinion. Because from there, you can kind of begin to twist a lot of the things that happen after there to fit the same color scheme.
Well, yeah, Daemon clearly wants to be rid of his wife, but I mean, he also lets it known that it was a strategic move also because they didn't have heirs. And now he owns the Vale, or at least Runestone in the Vale. He doesn't own the Eyrie, but he owns Runestone in the Vale, which is a very large. And Dragonstone's still his. So he's starting to amass like Littlefinger-esque resources.
And the other place too, where the crab man
stepstones.
The stepstones. Thank you.
I thought Cora got that. What's his name?
Corlys is there and running it, but by way of Daemon, who was crowned king because he killed the guy who was the head,
the crab eater.
Right. So even though he gives the king over to Viserys, and Viserys has the power as the king, at the end of the day, the people are going to respect Daemon. The people of that territory.
Right. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
maybe I didn't put enough thought into the episode then.
That's okay. We're gonna turn you into a fan at the end of this episode.
I doubt
it. No, I know. No, I think we can just move into then the next plot point, which is the Targaryens going to meet the Valerians in Driftmark.
Right.
Right. What did you guys think of Corlys not coming to greet his king?
It's kind of a flex.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of flexing on the king. He knows the king's in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But Corlys is smart because he'll always, talk politely, and he's always very cordial. And so even though he did slight the king, he still bent the knee and was like received him, but he had to walk to him.
Right.
Right.
Which
as
is
sickly as he is.
Right. Well, and I think that was more of a show, not just for the sickly. It's like you came down here after I offered you my daughter way back. This house and your house could have been together.
Right.
But that's not what you wanted. And I think that was his way of, oh, you need me now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even when he gets to the, oh, let's hammer out some details. And you see Viserys' face like, man, if I was healthier, I'd smack the shit out of you right now. Like,
right.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't think he would, but I think a healthier Viserys
wouldn't have taken all that disrespect so easily.
Right. He would have, I think when he was younger and a little healthier, the simple change of tone, the approach he would come at you with would change your approach to him versus the current Viserys. If he was a more sinister man, he'd just have king's guards around him that's willing to chop your head off because you blinked the wrong way. But he doesn't. And that's what I mean when I say he's not the typical king that we've seen in the Game of Thrones fashion. I mean, and I don't just mean Joffrey, but I mean, even Robert, if he got too tired of you, it was like, maybe don't kill him, but get him out of here. You know what I mean?
But he more like a regular dude. He like, man, fuck you, cunt, get out.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So Viserys basically begs Corlys to marry Laenor and Rhaenyra together so that they can wed their houses.
That was strong wording.
What's that?
That was strong wording.
What do you mean?
He begged.
I mean, that's what they said at the end. Basically, Rhaenyra says it's uncomely of a king to come all the way over here to beg for Laenor's hand.
Because it would typically come from House Valerian to propose the wedding to the king. So for the king to come to them, that's begging. That's what I was hinting at, is by him making him come, he knows he's basically groveling. He needs to make this.
That's a strong... But I guess I can't disagree with you.
I mean, look, he ain't sitting on his throne. He got on his boat. He came to his lands. You know what I mean? Like, and he didn't even stay for dinner.
Right. Yeah.
That's definitely coming to ask for a favor, fam.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't stay for dinner. You came to ask for a big favor, and you ain't even trying to overstay your welcome.
Yeah. Well, and I think Corlys and Rhaenys are smart. Obviously, they're gonna take him on the offer.
I think they're gonna be the ones to organize his actual death.
Well, we'll see. There's definitely going to be people vying for that death to happen, and I think, we'll get deeper into the episode. So
what do you guys think about the? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike. Sorry. What do we think about?
I was just wondering, what did you guys think of that dude with the cane? I forgot his name, but he approached the queen and he was kind of basically putting Rhaenyra on blast.
Oh yeah.
I think his name is Lionel Strong.
Yeah, I thought his name was Strong or something.
Is he going to be like the new Littlefinger, or is he going to be more like?
He's probably going to be more like Littlefinger than any other character in Game of Thrones for sure.
Because he already seemed weaselly as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think he's a plant of her dad's.
Who's the Hand of the King?
Who was the Hand of the King? So I think something I learned.
No, I'm sorry. I meant to say that Lord or whatever the guy's name is, the guy with the limp. Mm-hmm. His father is the current hand. Yes, is the current hand.
Yeah, But what I was getting at is, I think he was under or had a relationship with Otto before that, because his father wanted to get there. So I think he's always kind of like tried to vie for the information for the position.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? And now that his dad's in the position, it puts him in a better position to be like the weasel of King's Landing now.
Well, see, because I kind of looked at him when they first showed him I think it was in the first or second episode when he showed up. He was kind of hanging out with the ladies
at the hunt
because he's a cripple.
Right. So I was thinking he probably has all the information already because wives talk.
Yep.
That's what I mean. Like, I think that's been his job the entire time.
And he plays like the gentle, lame guy that everybody can trust.
And his dad, even though he wasn't the hand, he's always been a part of the High Council. I can't remember what his position was before, but probably like Master of Coin or something. But he's always been a part of the High Council. So his son has always been around it as well. And always had exclusive access to like the castle and shit like that, even though they're not royals per se, but they are high class.
Right.
So that's how I looked at him. I feel like he has a connection to, of course, his dad, but also her dad. I think that's the only reason he would be so confident in talking about her father's endeavors, as well as to try to, I don't know if that would be a persuasion or a dissuasion.
I think he was just trying to lay the seeds of doubt in Alicent's head about Rhaenyra by mentioning the moon tea.
But but that's what I mean. Like, would he be persuading her that she's doing bad or dissuading her thoughts that Rhaenyra could do no wrong? Which technically is the same thing.
I don't think either or. I think he's trying to I don't
just
know. Yeah, he's just trying to kind of poke at her and see what she's thinking of, because I'm sure he realizes that Alicent is still thinking about this. And he knows that he can sort of unravel this whole thing if he tells Alicent, hey, you know, I heard that Rhaenyra's sick. Is she okay? And Alicent's like, what's going on? And you know, it's like, oh, the Maesters brought her a tea that night. That you know that night where you said something might have happened. There was a tea too.
The tea.
Right. Yeah. So he's just playing. He's playing Alicent just so that they can sow that discord between Rhaenyra and Alicent.
Right. And we knew that whole tea was a setup from the beginning. The moment they brung that in, it's like, ain't nobody asked you to bring
we talked about that one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If she use it, it's guilt. If she don't use it, still guilt.
Still guilt. Right. Yeah, pretty much. So they have their talk. The Valerians and the Targaryens come to an agreement. The last name discussion was also pretty good, in my opinion, because again we saw Corlys kind of pushing the envelope, but he knows how far to push. And I like how Viserys made there is a few more likes in this than any other episode so far, but I did enjoy how Viserys still was able to show a little bit of a backbone. Not much, but it's like, you know what? Yeah, the kids will be born and they will have the name of their father. But if they were to take the throne, they will do so as a Targaryen. It's like, oh, got your ass. You thought you won.
Yeah.
Because that matters.
That matters a lot.
Yeah,
that matters a lot because that's what goes down in the books.
Did you guys hear the little squish when Rhaenys shakes the king's hand? And she gets the stubby hand with the two fingers.
And she looked. I didn't hear it. I did not hear it, but I did catch that because she looked and he looked, and they both kind of like
squishy hands.
That's not sweat, is it?
No.
What's wrong with your hand, cousin?
Yeah,
we're gonna need more leeches.
Bro.
More leeches. Yeah,
you're right.
Well, I mean that begs the question, right? You think the Maesters are just letting them die slowly? Because
yes.
Yeah, I think they're him with the leeches.
Because remember that the one guy was like, give him this poultice. They're like, nah, we got leeches.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they did try to give him something different. Yeah.
Is that the right way to bloodletting? Just letting the leeches bleed them out slowly?
Yeah. Well, that's what Scientology said they used to do all the time. So I mean,
I'm just
if you go to the museum, sorry.
Nope. I'm leaving you on your island. I'm not even having comment on that. You go ahead, Castaway.
Okay. It's back to the museum and talk about
it. Nicely done. But so they have their discussion. They agree. Then we see Rhaenyra and Laenor And they come to their agreement, which I thought that was clever. I thought that was probably the best thing they could have done. Too bad they got some ain't shit ass people around them.
Oh yeah.
But I think in their situation, I mean, they don't get to choose. Even though Rhaenyra was promised that she would, and then apparently she is believed to have done wrong, which I think her father was waiting for to take that. Oh, you can choose who you want to. No, you can't.
Yeah, she took too long.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, and now she's like 100% in it. Now she wants to be the queen, so she's just gonna do whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Now she wants it all.
Right. And then this is, we get the conversation with Criston Cole when they're on their way back. And he totally lays it out for her and basically lets her know, hey, they're going to kill me if they find out that we had sex with each other.
Right.
And the only way I can think that this is going to change is if we marry each other and we leave. Yeah.
And in his defense, he really thought she was going to be a commoner?
Oh, yeah. No, of course not.
You think she can go anywhere with that white hair and anybody not know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, but she's also, young and kind of, idealistic. So, yeah, when she says, I wish I could just go travel the world, she means that for like 2 seconds.
Yeah. She means travel and come home.
Really? Right. You think she gave it out 2 whole seconds?
Maybe a second and a half. Yeah, but I mean, so him being dumb and just sort of feeling like, oh, well, we had sex, so we're in love now, right? It's like, oh, bro, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? Yeah. So, Keelan's on mute, so I don't know what's going on here.
I was saying he was being a kid because she's just as young as he is.
Well, he's got to be a little bit older, but yeah, he was definitely being a kid.
What is she, like 19? He's like 24.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him. He's in a terrible position because now, obviously she just wants him as a boy toy. And the more he engages in that, the more his life is at risk, right? Like the more he's at risk of getting caught. If he gets caught, he's dead.
That's because he took a vow of chastity.
Right. I'm like, but here's the thing. He didn't get caught. He snitched on himself.
Oh yeah. yeah. I knew that was coming though, man. As soon as he got into that chamber and she was just like, so I heard this rumor. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
She's like, I don't know, bro. Man. Like she's like a messy Karen. Like she a ghetto messy Karen.
She's a ghetto messy.
She starts the mess and incites it at the same time.
Right. She's getting smart, man. That's why That's why I like her in this episode, because now she's starting to play people a little bit. And she sort of I like that the way they did that was like she was taking a while to explain it because she didn't want to say Rhaenyra and Daemon.
Right.
Because that's uncomfortable. But in that absence of explanation, that's when Criston is like, oh, it was me. I did it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And I was sitting there like, dummy.
You stupid.
Dummy.
I didn't understand why he even spoke. How about this? Ain't he supposed to speak when spoken to? She was speaking. She didn't ask you no question, dummy.
Nope. She didn't ask you anything.
I thought it was kind of funny though when he asked her if she just wanted him to be his whore.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny to me.
That's because that's what he wants. That's what she wants. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
it's still funny to me.
Like I 1000% when he said it, this was me.
Right. Yeah.
That's accurate.
It didn't take away from how funny it made me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It made me audibly laugh like, oh
like, hey, he understands what he was being propositioned with.
Right. He was gonna be a royal whore.
Mm-hmm. A concubine.
Right.
That's all right. Look, he forewent all of the golden robes.
Yeah, so Alicent finds out that Rhaenyra actually did have relations with Criston Cole, and maybe she still thinks even Daemon too, because she probably never got confirmation on that one.
Well, because she knows she lied about the whole the overall thing. She probably would lie about that too.
She swore on her mother's soul in front of a godwood, man. Come on, you don't do that.
You say in front of a goblin?
A godwood, that tree.
Oh, godwood. Okay.
Yeah, you're not supposed to lie in front of a godwood.
I mean, but she didn't lie. Her and Damon didn't have sex.
No,
Right.
she said Damon didn't touch me.
Oh, you're right.
I
she
swear
did.
on my mother's
The
soul,
lies!
Damon didn't touch me. That's
Well,
a
I
total
think
lie.
he meant Damon didn't touch her there.
Well,
That's still a lie.
He's not
still a lie.
clear.
A lie by
It's
omission.
open for interpretation.
It's a
I ain't
lie.
interpreting
Everybody
shit.
knows.
She lied.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Allison now knows that she's lied. She's like, oh no, it's on now. And add that to what Otto says to her, which is, you need to be careful because Rhaenyra will kill your children. It's not about if,
Right.
it's about when,
When.
because she will. She will have to.
She has to.
At some point.
Mhm.
Maybe not today.
It made her brothers. She ain't thinking about it that way.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Your
So
best
now,
friend.
now Allison has to take this seriously, and that's why she's getting ready for war, man.
Right.
I saw her talking to her people,
Mm-hmm.
talking to her Hightower friends
The
and
cousins.
family. Yeah,
They're
cousins.
all still terrible though.
Cousin, we have your back. We support you. Support you in what, bruh?
Yeah, y'all shouldn't be talking about this in front of everybody.
I swear, I was sitting there like, are they planning a coup in the middle of dinner?
Absolutely.
Yes, they were. Pretty much.
Absolutely.
It is. Hey, listen, if I'm the if I got that kind of moxie, then I'm just gonna get up and leave. Ain't no point in even what we fighting about.
Oh, well, she had to have her grand entrance too, obviously.
Yeah, trifling.
Stopping the king's speech.
That was what the trifling part was, not the late part.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
You wait till you hear your husband get up and start speaking, then you walk in, boy.
Man, but Damien did the same thing first.
That's true.
It's Damon.
And I like that too, because it's kind of a Chad move for Allison to do. And it also displays how sort of impotent Viserys is in his power. Like, people
The
just don't
disrespect.
respect him. Yeah.
Not anymore.
I think that was the blatant point. And I don't know if you guys caught during the ceremony, somebody whispers in the middle of the king's speech.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like when they said that, I was like, that was a real 2022 comment right there, but they're not wrong.
Right. Yeah. Everybody's noticing. They're starting to see.
I will say
Well, but
that as
everybody
well.
also noticing that he's sick and sickly.
Sickly, right. This is also the most 2022 episode. There was a lot of smug and arrogance in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Very it was still very PC.
Interesting.
Well, yeah.
For the level of disrespect that was attempted, it was still pretty PC. Yeah, never mind. You're right.
I kind of got a question that you just made me think of something.
Oh, here we
At
go.
the very beginning, when he kills his wife, how come they don't show him kill his wife and they skip to a fish head being cut off?
Yeah, they like doing this because so I think the books, what's going on is that there's a lot of ambiguity in the books. I think that Damon's wife is missing in the books, but nobody knows what happened. So you might be seeing decisions from the creators of being like, well, we will still want to keep it ambiguous, but we want to show you what's actually happening. But that's because the book doesn't really know whether Damon killed his wife or not. I think that's what it is. So they're kind of showing you that it still could be ambiguous. You see him walk up to her. You assume that he's going to smash her head in. I mean, obviously he killed her. So
They showed a dude get his wiener cut off in the first episode, bro.
that's true. That's true.
Just his boss.
Oh, but that was just for the shock points. That has nothing to do with the story. So Damon's wife is a big part of the story because she's keeping him from marrying Rhaenyra and taking the throne.
All right. Because I mean, it seems like there's a lot of, I don't know, female empowerment and kind of thing going on there. This whole dynamic. I don't know.
Oh,
is that one of those things too?
No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you.
Hey man, I don't want to make it controversial. This is what I'm seeing.
No, I get it. I get it. No, there is a little bit of that. And I think that what's funny about that is that I think that episode 4 was supposed to be a lot about that. But to me, what ended up happening was that we saw kind of, I mean, we just didn't see the thing that they thought they were showing us. And they thought they were showing us one thing, but it's really, what Rhaenyra does to Kristen Cole is not good, and it's not okay.
Not okay.
And using your power to force somebody like that is not okay. And I don't think that the show knew it was making that point, to be honest.
I don't think it knew it was making that point. I think they are trying to make the point of how downward spirals began or begin. Hopefully they're not trying to make the other point about what happens when someone unfortunately takes advantage of you in a precarious situation and how that can affect your psyche. But vicariously, it's kind of the same point, which is when you're introduced to something before you're prepared for it and in the wrong ways, you kind of have a convoluted thought towards it. And so for Rhaenyra, sex is now pleasure and not for reproduction only, which in these times is probably one of the larger mortal sins.
I it's funny because it's like, yes, they want to play up this this sort of system that, I don't know, the system that is sort of oppressive and all of that stuff, and that's totally fine and well, but I don't know. I think that Rhaenyra is a decent enough character and she's a complex enough character, but what really, like, the crux of I think it's called Fire and Blood, which is the book, is the relationships that she's had or allegedly has had, and how all of that really screws up the line of succession. So yeah, she's a complex character, and I'm kind of sad that it's going to be changing actresses, because it took 5 episodes for me to care about the 2 actresses, and now they're changing them. So
I want to say I still don't care about the Rhaenyra actress. I mean, I don't mean that in a negative way. She has not come across as strong in the last 3 episodes as she did in the first 2. However, the exact opposite for the Alicent actress. The last 2 episodes specifically, I think she finally figured out her character, and like you're saying, now she's done. So
no,
I can go along with that. That's fair enough.
It's kind of a bummer, but that brings us to the banquet. The banquets. Laenor and Rhaenyra are to be married, but first, of course, in kingly fashion, there are to be 7 days of feasting and jousting, celebration. That sounds exhausting. Where do all these people go when they're celebrating for 7 days?
Great question. Actually, before we get to the celebration, so we first must talk about not just Rhaenyra not leaving her birthright and blah, 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 blah. We kind of touched on all of that, right? But was that grayscale?
Oh, no. It looks like leprosy or gangrene.
And it looked like his arm is turning into the human blob.
Yeah, it looks like it's melting off of his arm. Yeah.
For sure. Like, what is that flesh-eating disease?
Flesh-eating virus.
The real one or the one in the show?
A real one.
Oh, I forgot.
Jesus. But you guys know what I'm talking about. It looks like that.
Staph infection or MRSA.
Well, it could be like a moist staph infection. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of staph infections. Not quite like that.
No, I'm good. His arm is gross, and they should have just cut off the hand when they had the chance.
Man. They probably would have saved his life.
Yeah, he could have Jaime Lannistered that, a golden hand.
But they don't, and instead, and this happens right before. That's why I had to back up a little bit. This happens right before Alicent calls in Sir Criston, and in fact, this happens right before she calls in Sir Criston. When the king collapses, and that's when they take him and we see his arm and they try to give him other treatments and they turn it down. But I just wanted to bring up that. I wanted to ask, what did you guys think his arm was? Now we can move on to the celebrations.
Yeah. Well, the Maesters are definitely trying to keep him sick I don't know why, but
Probably because they know once he's gone and Rhaenyra's on the throne, they're probably going to take her out. I mean, yeah, they're going to take her out, and they're going to probably supplant her with somebody else that they like.
I think that they want Alicent, to be honest, because like the Citadel is where all the Maesters learn, and I think that's in Old Town where the High Towers are. So the High Towers would be the Lords where the Citadel is. So it seems like they want the High Towers in power.
Yeah, I don't even think they want war. I think war is inevitable because Rhaenyra is not going to bow to Alicent.
Nope.
or bend the knee to Alicent.
But I probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
To be fair, I wouldn't.
If probably gone differently over time, maybe, but at this point, no.
Nah. You just the one who seduced my daddy while he was grieving.
It wasn't her fault either. Let's not blame her.
Hey, listen.
Her dad pimped her out when she was 14.
Hey, why it's not?
I see
the Game of Thrones. That's how this works.
I see what's going on here. Nick just want to know who shot the gun. He don't want to know the caliber of the bullet.
Yeah. It was all Otto's fault, man. It was Otto's
you know what?
fault.
And you know what though? You're not wrong. It was actually that whole thing. Yeah, even Viserys coming to terms and having to bring that to light, like, you know, that was a real clever move. Like, I didn't even realize that even Alicent was cleverly put in. Like, damn, you good. So no, you're absolutely right. He wasn't in any way, shape, form, or fashion looking out for the king, or looking out for Alicent. But
nope, he was looking out for his legacy.
Right. But at the exact same time, Alicent didn't have to throw on the show for the king and for whatever reason make him feel all warm and fuzzy inside, which is just weird to me that, you know, he was so eager to have this young girl up under him. And I don't mean that in a literal sense.
Yeah, I think that it's probably fine enough that she would be impressionable and think that, being the queen would be so glamorous and like, he's the king and all of that stuff. So
real life Barbies.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I could see where she feels duped in it, and we even saw that in the last episode where she's having to freaking lay
zombie
there.
Sex.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
that's the first thing I was thinking.
She's clearly not thrilled
zombie
with,
stuff.
Right. She's clearly not thrilled with her situation. So
no.
But yeah, so the banquet. Shout outs to Jason Lannister for having the best zinger of the episode.
Oh my god.
That guy is such a douche and everybody knows it. True Lannister.
I enjoyed him. As soon as I saw him walking up, I was like, it's about to get good.
Right.
That's all I knew. I was like, we about to laugh, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah. He's just so arrogant.
I thought there was gonna be a fire comeback though. I really thought they was gonna have her, say some cold business to him, but when he just kind of
I think had she said something too slick, they as a consumer base, we would have automatically seen Daenerys.
Right. Yeah. Daenerys was much more quippy. Rhaenyra is not as quippy.
Sometimes overly quippy.
Right.
To the point
maybe that was me hoping something interesting would happen.
I understand. But and that's what I'm kind of saying on that. I believe had they done that, what we'd be more concerned about is, oh no, they're starting to turn her into Daenerys, and now we'll never see the old Rhaenyra again. Which from the beginning we already complained that they were too similar. So I understand.
Yeah, I think it's fine. But I think she burned him anyways when he congratulates her about the marriage to Laenor, and she says he was the best man,
right?
Because obviously he threw his hat in the ring for that one,
right?
So she gets a burn on him, but yeah, his joke about why the queen was late and that's why women can't run war. Man, it was just so cringy and just perfect for a character like him. He's just so oblivious.
Right. And it was like Viserys like
Yeah. Yeah. He's just such a himbo. I love it.
Hell bimbo for those who missed it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so from there, what do we get? We get Laenor walks in. Daemon walks in.
Mm-hmm.
Alicent walks in. It was just
everybody is walking in all fancy and shit.
Yeah, it's a runway right there. But you realize you're in a room. They're in a room full of bitter people, bro. Like the entire room is bitter.
Yeah, how would you feel if you lived in Winterfell and the king is like, my daughter's getting married. You have to be here for a week. It's a 6-month travel for you to come to Winterfell to the King's Landing.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to be away from your house for a whole year just for a damn week.
For a week.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. Okay.
When you put it that way.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I'd be bitter too.
Come on.
Right.
But there were just a lot of moments through the bitterness. Even what is her name? Laenor's sister that originally was
I forgot her name.
Oh,
but the Valerian daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
trying to throw herself at Daemon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like, yo, do you guys know any restraint or bounds? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, that's what she's supposed to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like she's trying to boost the Valerian household, right? So if she can get a Targaryen,
if she can't have the king, why not go for the prince that's right next to the king?
Fair enough.
Yeah, you're right. They were already going to marry her off to the king. You're
right. Well, they was going. Well, I mean, apparently every female in the show is getting slutted out to somebody.
That's a fact.
I guess so.
I don't think they get no choice in it.
No, certainly not.
Huh. We failed to mention that this episode has its very own Joffrey.
Joffrey?
Yes.
Joffrey is Laenor's concubine.
Oh. What do you mean by that?
So he was the shit starter. He is the person during the banquet. His name happens to be Joffrey.
Oh, yes, his name.
What? Right.
Yeah.
The messy redhead.
Sex interest or relationship interest, whatever. His sexual interest. Joffrey Lonmouth.
Yeah.
The Knight of Kisses. That part I remember.
Wow.
I don't know why they call me that. You know why they call you that, player.
I know. Don't be coy.
Right. Don't be coy with me. Apparently on your side of town, everybody know what's going on and they smooth with it. All right, cool. I know over here they not. So you trying to play cute. I get you.
Nasty.
And so he decides to do the most Joffrey-ish shit he could have done. To go over to Sir Criston after he notices, I found the salty one in the room. You must be the other man. Right, cool deal. Which that's some whole. I don't even know if I'm gonna say that. That's just out of pocket, bro.
Yeah, he was wrong for going up to Criston like that. That was really
messy.
Yeah,
that was messy. That's the word right there. That was messy. Good.
Yeah. Right. That's why I kept saying the messy redhead.
Yeah, messy redhead. Yeah. Meanwhile, while that's happening, we also have Rhaenyra dancing with Daemon Targaryen.
Were they dancing or just like very closely talking and looking like
very closely talking? And every time they talk in Valyrian, they have to have a conversation about sex for some reason.
They're nasty.
They know. Nasty. And it's the way that they have to purse their mouth to speak in Valyrian.
Yeah.
Hey, and they're like right here each other.
How is it that you notice such things?
Hey man, I pay attention to a lot of detail.
Well, yeah, Damon's getting way too familiar right in front of the king. You know what I mean? Like that's so out of pocket, man.
In front of everybody.
Right. He's just trying to ruin it. That's what he's trying to do.
Right now, if the situation is proper, right, Laenor shouldn't have been around to get yanked up and beaten away because he got beat up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't have been beaten up because he should have been tussling with Daemon for grabbing up on my woman.
I think that's where Joffrey was trying to do.
I thought so as well, but I think he was trying to get the tussle to happen with Sir Criston versus Daemon. I don't think he realized it was Daemon.
I don't know. So
Joffrey, that is. I don't think Joffrey realized it was Daemon.
So obviously the kerfuffle, nobody really knows what happened because
the writers don't know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. The writers actually don't know what happened because this is supposed to have happened at a tourney in the books, and it's also very confusing as to what really happened. So expect a lot of ambiguity in this show where things happen and you can't really know which person was responsible for it.
Right.
But I guess from what I would speculate, and this is only a speculation because we can't know, Damon did some out of pocket stuff to Rhaenyra while they were dancing. Maybe Laenor's dude saw it and got in the middle, and then maybe Rhaenyra got pushed over, and that's what caused all the chaos. And that's when Kristen goes crazy.
Right. Yeah, we saw two different occurrences.
Okay. Yeah. They'll see. That's why this is. Yeah, that's why they made it ambiguous. So, what did you see?
Wait, now we'll make sure you're done though.
No, yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. So you saw that. What I saw was they're dancing, and after Joffrey goes to Sir Criston, and he basically, we're both attached to them. They're both people we love, and if we play our cards right and protect them, I think it took Sir Criston just a little bit longer to put two and two together to realize, like, oh wait, Laenor likes men, and she not marrying me because she gonna be with him, and you want me to sit here and play coy, and I can not. I think something just broke in his brain.
Yeah.
And what happened is, as Laenor and Joffrey are speaking, I think Sir Criston just went up and started bludgeoning him. I just started beating the dog shit out of him.
I can see where you're coming from on that, and that's probably right, to be honest. I don't want it to be right because that's too much on the nose for me, especially with the parallels of gay bashing and all of that stuff.
I just think that's exactly. That's one of those. This is one of those.
Please don't be that. Please don't be that.
I understand.
Please be more complex.
Watch this, and here's where it's. I have to tell you this. I don't think it is. And I was holding off on even talking about the male and male relationship until we got to this moment, because this is the real crux of it, in my opinion. This is the moment I'm saying when I say this was a real 2022 episode, right? This is.
God, I hope that's not the answer, dude. I really hope.
I'm just saying this is medieval times. I don't think anyone would have outed themselves in medieval times. Nobody would have been that comfortable. Period.
Yeah.
Now, when we assess what happened, if it happened the way I'm thinking, Sir Criston goes over, he grabs up Joffrey. Keep in mind, somebody also punched Laenor and pushed him over the table, and he got bloodied up a little bit. His face was bloodied. Rhaenyra got pushed into a corner, but she didn't get hit.
Right.
And then she got snatched up. I can't remember who snatched her up right now.
The Hand's other son.
Right.
Right. Yeah, the limping guy's brother.
Right. So, that's when you see the moment where Laenor is laying on the floor with his face beaten and bloodied a little, and he crawls over to Joffrey. That's when it clicked. Oh, that's what we're doing right now. That's okay.
All right. Let me offer one counter idea. Because this is the way I interpreted it. Now, though, the chain of events is the way I think it probably played out in the way I saw it. But I think the motive for Criston Cole killing Joffrey is that the only way to protect Rhaenyra and the people that he loves is to eliminate the two people who know the secret. And so if he kills Joffrey, that's one less person that knows the secret. And then he goes and tries to seppuku himself, because that would be the last person to know the secret.
That's real love. And that's
besides the queen.
I like that.
Besides the queen, who only knows it off of speculation. He's the witness. So if he offs himself, then she's got no proof.
Which is why it was important for Alicent to catch him trying to do that and stop him.
Yeah, that's why I say I hope it's not just like, oh, it was because he was gay, that's why he beat the crap out of him. I want it to be for a deeper reason than that.
I would love for it to be as well, because it lends more to the craft. But I mean, on the surface, it was a pretty quick look around.
Yeah, I think it was just, to me it was like tying up loose ends. Now I know that there's another person who knows this secret. He can't know, or we're all dead, and I can't know because I'm not going to be able to get out of this situation anyways, because Rhaenyra is going to keep using
it. I mean, are we kind of glossing over the fact that the queen must be the one who released the secret in the first place?
Well, no. The secret's not out. So what Nick's getting at is when Joffrey, what I was talking about earlier, when Joffrey went to Sir Criston, he's now letting Sir Criston know, I know that you slept with Rhaenyra. I know you slept with Rhaenyra because I'm sleeping with Laenor.
Right.
We have to protect them. And what Nick's saying is, Sir Kristen, being the loyal protector that he is, the only way to truly protect these two royals is to kill the only two people who can be guilty of taking them down, which would be the two people who are their
lovers.
I get that,
but they would be their taboo lovers, like the two people they can't be with.
Right.
Like not just the people they shouldn't be with. They can't.
Who told him?
Who told who?
Who told Joffrey?
Joffrey sussed it out when he saw. Yeah, Joffrey sussed it out when he saw Kristen pouting and staring at Rhaenyra.
Right, bro. Like that's what I was getting at earlier. We were like, he's
bro, wait.
And then Laenor said that they had a.
It out.
Laenor said that Rhaenyra and him had an agreement that they were going to do whatever they wanted, and then Joffrey's like, "Well, that means Rhaenyra has somebody."
Yeah,
and
he
so
just sat around until he figured it out.
Being his messy, nosy self, he sussed it out. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just find that a little too. Nah, that don't work for me. But I understand what y'all saying. Ain't no dude gonna look at another dude from across the room. Man, I bet he's sleeping with her. Because that just looked like that works like that.
He was continually staring at Rhaenyra and looking very sullen. So,
but he's the guard. He has to look at her and watch.
I get it.
Nah,
it is an extrapolation, but he did test the waters, and obviously he got it right. So, like he was trying to be buddy and being like, hey, we're in on a secret together. Let's look out for each other. We can form this.
And
alliance.
How is it that he didn't get arrested for pulling his weapon in front of the king again?
That's perfectly good question. That's a very good question. We don't know why. I suspect it might be because Corlys and the Valerians are okay with Joffrey dying because then Laenor.
They know who he is, so yeah, they wouldn't. Oh well,
yeah, they know exactly. Oh, and that was the other thing. I thought it was actually really interesting that Corlys and Lady Rhaenys.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very interesting that they knew of the situation and thought that by marrying Laenor off, they could actually be protecting him. And they're like, "No, you're definitely putting him in more harm's way, especially marrying him to Rhaenyra." Now, if he had got married to the chick over in Bravos, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just also like Laenor was very messy too. He was not being discreet about his activities. And neither is Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is messy too. She's not being discreet either. I mean, like
she doesn't know how to be.
In the middle of everything.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to be discreet. That's not her nature.
Like letting your uncle rub up on you in front of the king and your future husband is so dumb. And I don't understand why she wouldn't know that.
I'm trying to figure out why they let him walk in. Like I understand that's her the king's brother and her uncle, and it's a family marriage. And I know I said that a little earlier when we were talking about them walking in. Like, but why was he even allowed inside? Like, once he was in there, and you're gonna allow him in there, the way he walks in and all that, that's just Daemon being Daemon. But was it?
I thought he wasn't allowed in front of the king no more.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Didn't he say if you were here, I'm gonna cut your head off, or I'm gonna kill you, or something of that nature?
And this is the problem with the time jumps, is that you have to assume that these people have just sort of like, squashed the beef in between episodes.
Wait, so how long was the last episode to this episode?
I don't think it was that much time, but I guess it was enough time.
Because I'm thinking it got to be at least 6 months to a year.
It's got to be somewhere around that because, it has to be sometime because you're right. Daemon was told by the king to get away and go back to his wife and all that.
That takes time to travel. He went to he took the ship and went to see the Corlys and his people. That takes time. So I'm, just assuming.
Yeah, I would assume it's probably 6 months, maybe. Yeah.
But who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, the time jumps are a little bit rough. It's hard to.
Yeah. You think they'll give us an actual number for the next one since we're going to have all new actresses?
7 years.
I think, yeah.
7 years. And Viserys is still alive, so I guess he isn't dying that fast.
Right.
Jesus Christ. He's going to be a puddle?
Bro, he looks awful. Have you seen him in the preview?
No,
he's got stringy hair and he's all wrinkled and really pale. It's disgusting. Yeah, he looks like the Crypt Keeper.
Spreading out.
He looks like the Crypt Keeper.
I thought he looked more like a heavier penguin.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, So Kristen Cole then decides to beat the ever-living life out of Joffrey and then walks away. Surprisingly, because that would seem like something you could never do.
In court, in front of the king.
To a prince's at least friend. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
You would think he would be the equivalent
part of the entourage.
Married.
He's a part of the royal family. Obviously, he's been a part of their family. So, like, yeah, it would be a very, very grave thing to do to kill him.
Well, no, he would still be considered a part of the family, but unless he would be like, dang, I forget his name, but the kid who was a slave to the
like a ward, like Starks. Theon.
Like Theon, yeah. Unless he was like,
I mean, or
even then, you don't want him to just get killed because he's a member of the family,
right? Or he's just a part of the court in Driftwood. You know, like there are probably other noble people in that area. So, but yeah, it's
I didn't think it was. It should have been just brushed off, excuse me, that he was killed either. Though I thought that
it shouldn't. They definitely shouldn't. And I don't know if they're going to be. I mean, I would assume that this is going to get brought up again, but it's going to be 7 years later. So how are they going to bring it up? I'm not sure. But then Kristen goes to the God's Wood to kill himself, seppuku style, which I don't know where they got that idea from. I mean, maybe they're hinting that there's like
some samurai somewhere,
some samurai culture in Westeros somewhere, or Essos. Yeah,
I'll say you actually. I thought it, but I like that you said it. I didn't really think to say it because it was a dagger versus actual like a knife, like a full-on sword.
Yeah.
But yeah, same
idea.
Only difference was he wasn't aiming for the heart or gonna shove it down his throat or anything of that nature. He's just looking like he was aiming for the sternum.
No, it goes right to the stomach. Then you go left and then right and up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be able to do that means you got an iron will.
Yeah. And then if you couldn't finish the job, you had an assistant chop your head off.
Right. And to be fair, if all he had to do was angle that dagger up a little bit, it would have probably went right into his heart.
Yeah.
If he did enough force.
Yeah.
Because you can go under the rib cage, I believe, and get into the heart at an angle.
With an EpiPen?
No. With a strong enough dagger, is my understanding.
No, I think you can for sure. He would have done it. It would have been, it would have been over with. But obviously, Alicent needs him alive because
who else gonna corroborate her shenanigans?
Exactly.
She need.
But then again, I think before he would even get put in a position to even report on something like that, he probably would just kill himself anyway before he even said anything.
Like he was about to?
Right.
Unless his attitude towards Rhaenyra sours after, realizing how much she hurt him.
Possibly.
He might become resentful.
If he was a computer programmer, he definitely was hitting the delete button 30 times over, but he wasn't allowed to because the master programmer said, nope. But yeah, I don't think he's going to develop a hate towards Rhaenyra. I think it's a misunderstanding and a disdain for what it is he signed up for. He's never really had to be exposed to the nastier sides of High Court.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because he was the princess's protector. So here we are now. Totally different playing field because she's no longer about to be the princess. She's on her way to being the queen.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not if Alicent has anything to say about it.
So, would they call her queen or woman king?
No, not woman king. Come on.
Yeah. Just wanted to ruffle some feathers.
I heard there's some scandal about that one. But,
yeah, well, I'm not. I won't touch it. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Right.
I done already got 2 warning flags today.
Right.
We're gonna simmer down there. I'm just saying we could probably cover that without watching the movie, and then maybe watch the movie and cover it. There's that much out there about it, honestly.
A lot.
And I mean the real story and the background and all of it is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, so right after everything happens, with blood still lying on the floor, forming pools for rats to drink from and get their fill of human blood. Yep. Rhaenyra and Laenor are married, tearful angry, emotional, they are wed.
They had that dude crying.
Oh yeah. The moment they said they I do's, there goes the king collapsing to the floor. Second collapse of the day.
Yeah, he's been falling a lot. But again, after you see the next episode and he's like, it's been 7 years later and he's still kicking. It's like, all right, well, we just spent the last 5 episodes thinking that you were going to die. Obviously, you're going to be around for a little bit.
I bet you they pushed him around in a wheelchair. I mean, in a wheelbarrow.
Right. Yeah. Just won't die.
He just won't die. Cut his head off.
That's so funny because it's like this whole thing is about what happens when he dies and he's just refusing to die. I think that would be pretty funny.
He has iron will. That's from all the knives that's been poking him in his back his whole career.
That's right. Absolutely. It's become resistant. But yeah, I think that was the end of the episode. Fiend.
Yes, indeed.
That was my favorite part, to be fair. Because it just made me wonder, is this how Grayscale got started? Something like that.
That's definitely a sort of like a hint at disease, because obviously rats carry plague and disease and stuff. So
Grayscale reminds me of zombies. So there we go.
Born pathogens.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a character called the Rat Catcher that might be important in the story eventually. So
the Rat Catcher is in here.
It's in this story, so I don't know if they'll bring it into the series, but I think that the rats are alluding to this certain character called the Rat Catcher.
But is he going to be just another crab feeder?
No, it won't be like that at all.
How do you know?
Let me just say that the Rat Catcher is privy to all the secret passageways in King's Landing.
Oh,
because he's catching the rats, so he knows where.
Right. No, I mean, I get that. I'm just saying. I mean, the way they did the crab feeder, man.
Right. Yeah.
He might show up and be like, "Hi," and then die.
Yeah. Right. That's true. That's very possible.
I mean, because they hyped up the crab feeder like he was gonna be the ultimate dude.
Yeah. I thought he was the new Night King.
Oh, he is the new Night King. Come on. They just spent less time hyping him up. Oh, season 8 burn.
Man, they did the Night King bad. I'm just saying.
Oh, that was awful, man.
I thought he was about to be the hardest things, the coldest thing since sliced bread. I remember that my initial thought of the Night King was,
you mean the coldest thing since iced bread, but that's okay.
I like it.
Yeah, no, they did the Night King awfully. That was not fun.
And then did the crab feeder worse.
Yeah, they did.
Did he even did he say utter even a word ever?
No, he just kind of like moved his head.
Right.
To his
so he got no credits in IMDb.
None. Yeah, he didn't even get a SAG card for that.
Right.
Watch this. Who?
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, are we? Where are we feeling on this one? I know Keelan says this is kind of like at least turning the nose up on the downward spiral. Mike, did we change your mind at all about it?
Yeah, you did. I can't pretend like you guys make the episode way more entertaining than I found it, and way more controversial. It was way more controversial than I was willing to even discuss. To be fair.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Agreed.
Because I see stuff in a certain light, and I know what it is and what it ain't.
Sometimes you just got to put your normie glasses on and enjoy.
Well, I don't have any glasses, and I don't got no headphones like Keelan got. All I got is EBT internet.
The next time you come over, I'm just gonna hook you up with all of the stuff. I got tons of microphones and headphones and stuff. So
slap some headphones around your neck, throw some glasses on your forehead, put a microphone in your hand. They're gonna call you the new broadcaster.
Absolutely.
We're gonna start putting you out in front of
Limbaugh
stadiums after games.
Bruh Limbaugh.
Bruh Limbaugh. All right. That'll be your that. Hey, if you decide to start podcasting, we're holding you to that name.
Can't change it now.
Doubt.
I love it. That's so catchy.
It just came to me.
I like it. hold on to that because you might need that in the future.
All right, for sure. I have to copyright that one.
Yes, sir. Okay, guys. Well, I guess we're trepidatious about the next episode. We'll see. They're changing the actresses up, so I don't know if that's gonna work or not. We'll have to just see next week.
I think I'll get better if they keep moving away from all this weird sexual stuff. I think I'll feel better about it.
That's why I like this episode over the last episode, to be honest, because it was more about the stuff that I like Game of Thrones for, which is the scheming and the politics and, people double crossing each other and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. All right, guys. I think that we're done. Do you have anything else that we want to add?
I'm good.
More leeches.
More leeches. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning let me try that again.
Tuning away.
Thank you guys for tuning in with us. We really appreciate it. We hope that you're having a wonderful evening, or whenever you're checking us out. Please leave us a comment. What did you guys think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let us know. We would love to hear from you. Consider giving us a subscription and a thumbs up on our YouTube page. It would really help us out. We're trying to grow that audience. We're almost at 100 subs, you guys. We're very excited about that. That's very cool. And thank you all for subscribing. We really appreciate all of you. We'll do some celebration giveaway thing once we get to 100 or something like that. Just stay tuned. But yes, we appreciate all of you out there. If you want to check out what we do on our separate podcasts, you can go over to Facebook at Thinkering Talks. There you will find Tuesday nights with If Numbers Could Talk, 8:30. Then you got Tuesdays and Thursdays at Strawberries and Coffee with Dijon on Twitch. Then we have Wednesdays, Sundays here, Screen Time Continuum, and Friday nights, ExoFathom. Not to mention This Married Moment, Saturdays, around noon. You can go check all of those podcasts out at Thinkering Talks on Facebook, but we also have Facebook pages and YouTube pages for all of those channels, so go check that out. We're also on Spotify. A couple of us have Rumble. We have Rumble on this channel now, so we're looking to expand our repertoire and our reach, so just be on the lookout for those, and you can catch them all over at Thinkering Talks. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. I think we've come to the end of this evening, and I want to thank Keelan, and I want to thank Mike, and I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick.
I am Keelan.
Mike.
Good night, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.